Okay, welcome everybody to the Rossmoor Homeowners Association monthly board meeting. This is Ralph Artabedian. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we're really fortunate tonight to have our newly elected supervisor, Katrina Foley, with us for a town hall. This is Supervisor Foley's first mass exposure to the Rossmoor, so we are very appreciative of her presence here tonight, and we're going to turn it over to her for a few words and a presentation, and we will open it up to the community for questions afterward. Supervisor Foley, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I'm Katrina Foley. I am the new supervisor for District 2, and District 2 includes the unincorporated area of Rossmoor. We're really excited to be here and to work with all of you in helping to solve your community concerns. And we got right to work here in District 2. Now we're entering our 8th week. We're in the middle of our 8th week, and we've had 3 board meetings, and we got our constituent services team. Your representative for Rossmoor is Manuel Chavez. He's on our team here. Tonight, filling in for him is Calvin Alvarez, because Manuel also covers another district and so another city, so we're playing tag team. But our group is very flexible and easily able to pivot. So I don't know, did Calvin get on here yet? Calvin, are you on here? It doesn't look like it. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead, and once he gets here to join us, he can start the PowerPoint. But basically what we've been doing since we got here is really focusing on the COVID recovery. And as you may all have heard, Orange County is going into the yellow tier, which is really a testament to all the hard work by our community residents to socially distance, wear your mask when appropriate, and to get vaccinated. And I was sharing with the board earlier, we have this map that our team created, and it has like all of our vaccine efforts that we have going on in the district. And Rossmoor is doing pretty great at 68% vaccinated for your community. And so we really appreciate everyone who is voluntarily getting vaccinated. And then we're going to talk about how can we do some community mobile clinics in Rossmoor here in the next coming weeks. The super pods will be closing on June 5th. And so the best place to get vaccinated after that will be either at a community clinic or go to the Walgreens, CVS, go to your doctor, go to Kaiser, any number of places. But that's been a big top priority. We also voted at the first board meeting. The board voted on grants for businesses that are arts related or nonprofits that are arts related, because they've really taken a hit during the pandemic, not having any revenue whatsoever. And so we, in our district, each district got $1 million to give out for arts businesses or arts related businesses. Oh, here we are. Yay. I knew if I talked long enough, he'd get here. And so anyway, that $1 million we're going to be giving. Here I am. You can see me. This is just sort of, while I'm talking, I'll let this, you can read this. I don't need to read to you. But basically the arts grants are going to be starting here soon. And then we also did grants, $2 million per district for food meal gap programs. So what we're doing in District 2 is I'm surveying residents, seniors, veterans, nonprofits that support struggling families. And we're going to identify where are the needs in terms of groceries. And groceries for our district will include things like maybe you need, if you're a senior citizen, incontinence products. Maybe you need diapers if you're a new mom and a family that is struggling. Maybe you need toiletries. Maybe it's something that's maybe not hasn't really been focused on, not just milk and meat. So we're really going to focus on that over the next couple of weeks, and you stay tuned for that. These are our top priorities, COVID recovery, promoting transparency and accountability for our taxpayers, reducing homelessness, housing, increasing our workforce development. We've already gotten to work on many of these priorities. Next slide. This is our district, and Manuel Chavez, as I mentioned, is our representative for constituent services for Rossmoor. This is his phone number. Get your phone out, take a picture of that, and you can also email him. You can follow us on our social media on all platforms at Supervisor Foley. And you can sign up if you go to our website for the county and go to District 2 for our weekly newsletter. We have a newsletter that goes out every week. We try to give an update related to COVID, but also related to county services. And then we have each city, as well as Rossmoor, included in the newsletter. We try to amplify some of the work that you're doing or the community events that you have. We also have a pet of the week from our OC Animal Shelter, and we try to focus on something related to the parks. One of the great unexpected benefits of this job is I'm learning so much about all of our amazing park system within the County of Orange and our library programming. So I want to try to share that as often as possible to get that out to the residents. Next slide. So we kind of talked about the vaccinations. You can go to the OC Fair, no appointment necessary anymore. Just walk up or drive up and they'll help you there. Next slide. We talked about the vaccine, but just to give you an idea, this is the Rossmoor zip code right here. It kind of gives you where the most people, it looks like seniors are winning, age 65 plus. 80% of individuals age 65 plus have already been vaccinated in Rossmoor. And so we're really working on getting the younger individuals vaccinated. Next slide. And then we have these additional clinics that we're doing. May 19th will be that's tomorrow. We have the Costa Mesa Senior Center in the morning, bright and early. And then we'll be in Huntington Beach at the Oakview Community Center. And then on the 25th, we're back in Stanton. And then if you go to our website, we'll just keep updating as where our community clinics are. Next slide. And then, as I mentioned before, there's so many other ways you can get vaccinated. Just go to vaccinefinder.org or go to My Turn or go to Othina, and they'll give you all the different ways that you can get vaccinated. Next slide. Okay, let's talk about some updates on some of the constituent services we've been working on here in District 2 for the benefit of Rossmoor residents. So when I first got here, someone mentioned that for whatever reason, Rossmoor residents were being charged the Los Alamitos tax rate. And so we immediately researched this, spoke with our general counsel here at the county, and learned that that isn't appropriate. And so Rossmoor residents are not subject to the city of Los Alamitos sales tax rate. They are really just the county unincorporated lower tax rate for sales. And so this is the number to call if you think that a business is overcharging you for your taxes. And we have a staff member here that's well versed in this and is here to help if any of your residents are struggling with paying the higher tax rate. Street sweeping was also an issue that was raised with us. And so we've been in communication with the OC Public Works and as well as with the Sheriff's Department. And we have a meeting scheduled for, I think it's next week, with the CHP with regard to the issues that relate to the street sweeping. We did meet with and I want to call him the city manager, but that's not his title, but Joe for Rossmoor. And we've been working in partnership with him to help get an understanding as to why we can't do something, in my opinion, as simple as rotating the street sweeping so that it's not on both sides of the street when they do the street sweeping. So we've worked on that. It's currently in progress with OC Public Works, and we hope to have a solution, very shortly. There is one of the issues that was being raised, and I would love to get some feedback on this, is that there's some people who want more ticket enforcement, and then there's other people who don't want any ticket enforcement. And so the CHP was getting complaints about the ticket enforcement. And so then they stopped doing the ticket enforcement. But then those people who want the street swept, the cars are preventing the street sweeping from happening. So I think the solution is have it rotate so that people can move their car across the street like many other communities do. It seems like a no-brainer to me. So I've yet to figure out why it's so hard, but we're working on it. Next slide. Questions. Okay. So in addition, and you can take this down now, Calvin, in addition to sort of what we've been working on with Rossmoor, we also have created a veterans advisory group, and we are working on a couple of veterans initiatives. One is we're wanting to make sure that all employers in Orange County know that the county has a workforce development program where if you are a veteran and you are an employer who wants to hire a veteran, the county workforce development funds can be used to pay for that veteran to work for your company. It's a way that we can increase the staffing for some of our businesses and also help out a veteran in need. So that's a program we're going to be pushing out. Additionally, what I learned pretty much immediately when I got here was that we vote on millions and millions of dollars in contracts, hundreds of millions. And there's so few that are local Orange County businesses. So in our district, we are focusing on when we buy supplies, we're buying them from local businesses right here in District 2. When there are uniform needs, we're buying those from the local businesses right here in District 2. Whenever in District 2 we have a public works project that requires fencing or something that can be done, under $50,000, I'm encouraging Public Works to choose a local Orange County business to perform that work. And we also are starting a series where we're going to be partnering with all of the chambers to share with the chambers, and we'll have a representative from the procurement office here at the county to share how to become a vendor for the county so that we can get some of our local businesses some of these county contracts instead of giving the contracts to Corona and Carson and, as far as somewhere up north in California. Let's give those contracts right back here into our local business and drive our economy here in Orange County. So that's something we are working on. It's an initiative that we've begun. We've started doing our tour of chambers, if you will, already. And then we also created a homelessness and housing advisory group. And we're doing a 360 review of all of the homeless and housing and treatment contracts that the county has. I'll tell you, in the last 3 meetings, we've voted on more than $400 million for the whole county in contracts related to these issues. So for me, I can only focus on District 2 without getting a vote of all the rest of the board. So I'm going to do this 360 review to try to find out how much are we spending in District 2? What is it going towards? What are the metrics of success? And are we meeting them? If not, what can we do better? And how can we better spend our taxpayer dollars to actually solve the community concern of people living homeless on the streets and in the parks and in front of businesses? So this is a priority for me. It'll take a couple months. It's not something that will happen overnight, but I'm going to work on a 6-month timeline to at least get the 360 review done, because it is a lot of money. There's a lot of money flowing in from the state and federal government to focus on mental health and behavioral health. And we just can't just keep throwing money out the door. We need to have it very intentional and targeted, and we need to have some metric for success. At least I think so. So those are top priorities. And then finally, this week, our transportation and sustainability policy advisor started, and he will be working with us on the OCTA. I sit on the OCTA board, so he will be the point of contact. His name is Adam Arith. And then he's the point for John Wayne Airport. We had a whole tour of John Wayne Airport today, learned a lot about the airport and a lot about the future for the airport. So Adam is everything: sustainability, climate action, and transportation. And that includes things like the wall. I know we talked about having building a sound wall in that area. And I will tell you that I hit a dead end for that one. OCTA has shared with me that they went out and measured the sound, and it does not meet the noise requirements. It might seem very noisy probably to people who live there, but it doesn't meet the noise requirements in order to build a sound wall there. So I've asked them to get me some more data, and we might consider having someone from OCTA come to one of these meetings and answer questions. And I'd be happy to facilitate that. So at this point, I think I'll open it up for questions. I've talked too long already.
I just want to interject a quick question on that last point, and I'll let the public enter some questions. OCTA had committed to one of the residents along Martha Ann to do sound measurements. I wasn't aware that it had ever been done, and my last communication with her was that it hadn't been done. But you're saying they have done these sound measurements. We'd love to get the results of them.
I'll get them for you. I've asked for the results as well, because I spoke with Daryl Johnson just last week about this topic.
Okay, great.
There's a public question that came in via email that addresses the same subject. It's with the consistently high and unhealthy noise levels that are affecting people's hearing, as well as the hearing of the kids that go to Hopkinson. Can the supervisor discuss the status of the freeway noise issue, the sound wall? You've pretty much covered that, but it's more than just a passing thing. And I think there's, if there's any information that you can get us, yep, in addition to the data, but like your summary, your assessment, your statement, I would love to share that with the community via our email, social media, website, whatever.
Absolutely.
So if we can kind of hook that up and we can get reports from you versus, well, somebody said and this and that, and
right.
So that would be really helpful. And I think it's a good opportunity for the people in Rossmoor to hear your voice.
Yeah, well, we're going to put all of this in our report this Friday in our newsletter, but we can send it to you independently as well. And then once I get a copy of the study that OCTA tells me that they performed, then we'll make sure to get that over to you as well. And it might be a situation where, we get out there and do a field trip and have someone from OCTA join, and we can kind of share the community concerns. So maybe there's some other solution that hasn't been considered.
Okay.
But I have taken every one of these issues that you all raise, I take it up to the right department and try to find a solution. And so that's going to be what we try to do. And, I'll continue to be persistent until I hit a point where I just think it can't be done. And I don't want it to give anyone any rose-colored glasses because I'm all about making sure people have accurate information.
Question in the chat we have from Dave Vandervoot. How can we get the flood control channels cleared out? The channel that goes under Shakespeare is backed up and becoming a mosquito breeding ground.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I'll make sure, Calvin, can you connect with that individual and make sure to get the information so we can get that to Public Works and the Flood Channel District tomorrow. We'll work on that immediately. Just an update on the flood channels in general. It's like a $495 million project for the flood channels that go all the way down to the beach. And we just put in with Senator Umberg. He asked for our office to identify water quality projects, storm drain projects, drought tolerant projects that he could include in a trailer bill as part of the state budget process. So we were able to get the County Public Works to help us to put together a package. We also reached out to some of the cities that might have projects, and we've put together a whole package for Senator Umberg as well as for Senator Min on the south side of the district. And so we'll share back with you whether we were successful in getting any funding for those infrastructure improvements. And I'm hopeful that we will be.
Excellent. If there's anybody in the audience that wants to ask a question, please raise your hand. We'll see if we can get you on here. Or you can just type it into the chat and we'll pick that up. I did have one other email in question. Well, actually two, but one you've kind of touched on the homelessness. Apparently there's a homelessness encampment. There've been a number along the San Gabriel River, either on the Long Beach side or the Los Alamitos Seal Beach side. But there seems to be one that is trying to take root or is growing in the 605 Catella interchange there.
Okay.
And that I believe would be in the city of Los Alamitos, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
But just to put it on your map that there seems to be something there, and at least one Rossmoor resident is saying, "Hey, what are we doing about that?"
Okay. Well, that's really helpful because more eyes on the ground and in the field is very helpful to us. And we will contact, again, that's a OC Public Works as well as the healthcare agency. It's kind of a combined issue. Just on that same topic, if you see something, say something, but do also email us. You can email me and it goes to my team at Katrina.Foley, and Calvin can put it in the chat, Katrina.Foley@ocgov.com. And when you email to that email address, it goes to 4 different people. And then the constituent services team manager sends it to the appropriate person on our team to be able to immediately address it. And then we'll immediately take it up to whatever department it relates to. I want to also let everyone know on one of these calls, or maybe it was with, I don't know where I learned this, but on one of the calls I learned about, there was some concern about debris and trash that was sort of forming kind of where the freeway was being constructed. And so we did put in a request for them to get that cleaned up. And I haven't had a chance to go out there to check on it yet, but I'll be heading out there next week to make sure that Caltrans, so it's a Caltrans issue. That's what we learned. Wasn't OCTA, wasn't the county, it's Caltrans. So what we did was we asked, okay, who is the contact at Caltrans that we can just communicate directly to? We don't have to go through 3 people to get this area cleaned up. So if it hasn't been cleaned up, please let us know. Anytime there's debris on the freeway, I noticed some graffiti. I also have talked to Public Works about graffiti abatement in the district, and we're working on a more robust graffiti abatement program that also would include private properties that are wanting to participate instead of just having that, paint a big block of a weird color that doesn't match the color of the building. We're going to model, I hope, this is what I've asked, to model it after like what we do in Newport and Costa Mesa, which is color match. It's a very simple technique where you just match the color of the paint on the building, and then you don't have that big square or rectangle. So we're working on that as well. Okay.
The other email in question is completely different topic. Can Supervisor Foley briefly address how or does the California Regional Housing Needs Assessment impact Rossmoor? And will you speak to the process and the timelines? And then how can we stay informed on what's being considered, what's being done, what the decisions that the county's making, et cetera?
That's a great question. So the California Regional Housing Needs Assessment, sometimes referred to as RHNA numbers, have requirements for Orange County, very significant number of housing units for Orange County to build. And I don't have off the top of my head what the number is for Rossmoor, if there even is one, because it's all in unincorporated, it's considered, so it wouldn't necessarily be in Rossmoor. But as an example, there are some cities in the district that have units of 12,000 required. The city of La Palma, I met with the mayor and the city manager just this week, and they have an 800 unit requirement. Now, that doesn't seem like very many compared to 12,000, but for La Palma, which is essentially built out, where are they going to put 800 units, right? So I've been brainstorming with some of the mayors, and we've been talking about this idea of maybe putting together a regional kind of coalition to discuss how can we work together to plan for this in a regional matter, as opposed to each city or area just on their own, doing their own housing element without consideration of their next door neighbors, so that we can start to identify locations where housing can be built, where it does not impact traditional single family neighborhoods, and where it is near job centers. Because that's the strategy, build the housing near a job center so that people don't have to get in their cars and travel on the freeways and, create more traffic. We can build, communities. It's a long-term process. It's not going to happen overnight, but that is something that many of the mayors are receptive to. So we're going to keep talking about how that might work. But basically right now, each city has to put forth a housing element to the state of California, and then they have to plan for building or having a plan to build these units that are being mandated within the next 8 years. So for example, I was the former mayor of Costa Mesa. The city of Costa Mesa units, 12,000 units. To build 12,000 units in 8 years it's just really, I think that'd be a huge lift. Because you have to go through all kinds of development process, and there's just not a lot of places to build units. So that's the challenge in every city that has to deal with these mandates, is that many of the cities in Orange County are built out, and so you have to find the locations. Now, a city like Stanton, for example, they are embracing. They want more units than what they were mandated, because Stanton really needs to build housing and to revitalize their community by building housing, getting more people there, building more community into Stanton. So every city and every community is going to be different in how they approach this. We just need to figure out a way to do it so that the cities are working collaboratively together.
Thank you.
I hope that answered the question. I'm not
very thorough answer. Yeah, yeah. I believe that all the unincorporated areas in Orange County are one lump,
right?
And I think the number was 10,000 units or something like that. But
that includes the Great Park area that we have. So we have places within the county unincorporated where a lot of those units are going to go.
Okay. Are there any other pending questions, Art?
I don't see any in the chat. I don't see any hands up, and I don't have any more that have been emailed in.
Okay. Well, good. Do any of the board members have something they'd like to raise or question? Okay. You mentioned street sweeping, and I know that I agree with you completely that it shouldn't be that hard to resolve, but for a long time, the ball seemed to be in different courts. And I'm wondering if you can say right now whether the county's awaiting action by RCSD or whether the ball is in the county's court right now.
Okay, well, tonight when our team was preparing the slides, they had a slide, they had something in there about some GIS system that our CSD was working on. And I actually had them remove that, because I don't think you need to do that in order to fix the problem. From what I understand from the Public Works Department, it really isn't about whether or not the street sweeping truck can go through one day on the right side of the street, another day on the left side of the street. It's something to do with the enforcement and having the CHP and the sheriff involved. So we're trying to get to the bottom of what is the obstacle here, because it just seems like it's been made so complicated, something that from my experience is a simple solution. So that's the best I can give you, is that we're trying to get to the bottom of it. And I have put a deadline in our office of getting this resolved within the month of June, because if a budget request is necessary, I need to know so that I can put it in the budget in June.
I know the history of this issue includes some problem with getting a concrete, actual official bid from a street sweeping company or municipality, and determining how Rossmoor could pay for anything above what the county's currently incurring. I don't know if that's still an issue on your table or not.
Well, that hasn't really been what I've been told. What I've been told is it's more a logistics issue. It's not really about who's going to pay for it, because the county is required to pay for that. That's part of the deal, right? But what I've been told, it's more of a logistics. And so they have a vendor that does all the street sweeping. So if the vendor has to change their route, that means they're changing their route, and it's impacting other communities as well. So that's the issue that we're trying to drill down on. Is it really that impactful? It's such a tiny little area compared to the whole rest of the district that I don't see how it can be that hard. I know, and for me, it's like, this is so weird that this is such a hard issue.
Right.
I have another audience question. This is from John Torrey. He says, what is the county's position about face masks in relation to the CDC's recently relaxing of mask requirements? I assume the county will comply with state law requirements until mid-June, but I am unsure. Can you speak to what the county's position is or will be on the topic?
Yes, well, that is correct. The county, actually, the health officer issued a statement today. You can find it on their website. And then we actually pushed that out through our social media. And I think we sent an email out so that everyone could see the release from the health officer, because it is a little confusing. But the state has, the California Department of Health, Public Health, has said that we should continue to wear face masks in crowds, indoors, in all those places where we've been needing to wear face masks, the grocery store, et cetera, until June 15th, when the state opens up. And that, especially if you're not vaccinated, or if you have like some kind of a health issue or autoimmune concern. So we're, I'm just trying to encourage people to use common sense. If you're with a group of friends and everybody's vaccinated, or with family and everyone's vaccinated, you don't need to wear your mask. But if you're out in the grocery store and you don't know who's around you, and maybe you're not vaccinated, you should probably wear your mask. We also have a concern about the variant spreading. This is an international community. People travel here from all around the world. And so it is a concern about the variants. I'm just trying to really encourage common sense. We're so close. June 15th is around the corner. It's less than a month away. And we wear our face masks in the office here. I don't wear a face mask when I'm around people that I know are all vaccinated. Even though our whole team here at the office is vaccinated, that Cal OSHA still requires face masks indoors. So we will have, I know there's a lot of people don't want to wear a face mask. Trust me, I can't wait to get rid of the face mask. I can't wait to come to your community and be in person. I think we're all just really starved for social engagement off of Zoom. But we're almost there. And so we don't want to go backwards.
Okay. Anything else? Art, anything?
I don't have anything else that's out there right now.
Okay, well, listen, if the board and the panelists and the audience doesn't have anything else, I just want to thank you again for participating, taking the time and listening carefully to our questions. And we look forward to working with you and getting some of the information that you said you could provide to us. Thank you very much. So just
for the benefit of the viewing public, the board and I met before this, and we're going to get some information to the board about revenue that comes in from property taxes. We're going to get some information about what are the costs for cities of a similar size for public safety services, and so that you can all kind of have an understanding of that, what that looks like. And then we're also going to get a copy of the study that relates to the sound wall from Orange County Transportation Authority. And then we're going to keep working on this street sweeping issue. So I don't mean to laugh. I just at a loss for how come it's so complicated.
When you solve the street sweeping issue, we will have a ceremony with the first street sweeper going by.
Been going on for years,
Yeah.
So silly. It's not silly for people who live there, but it's silly that we can't solve it.
Thank you, Supervisor Foley, very much for taking the time out for meeting with us tonight on the RHA. This is Joe Shade, I'm the events chair, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule and meeting with us. This forum has been amazing, and it's been perfect for everybody to get their word in, and I appreciate all the efforts that you have spoken to and are looking into.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great evening and have a great week. And I hope to see you soon in person.
Appreciate it.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.